Snakes are one of the most colourful and diverse groups of animals on the planet, consisting of 18 families, over 500 genera, and almost 4,000 species. In this fast-paced guide, we'll explore 100 species of snake, from constrictors such as boas and pythons, to the highly venomous viper and elapid families, common snakes such as vine and rat snakes, and some of the most weird and wonderful species like the elephant trunk snake and the blind snake. Let's dive in. Boas are a family of large, non-venomous snakes that kill by constriction. There are 5 subfamilies of boa, the most famous of which are true boas found in Central and South America and the Caribbean. The holes in the side of their faces are heat-sensing organs known as pits, used to detect prey. The green anaconda is found in the Amazon and Orinoco basins and is the world's heaviest snake, reportedly weighing up to 227 kilograms or 500 pounds. Their name derives from a Latin word meaning of mice, although they consume a much larger variety of prey. The common boa, or boa constrictor, has a much larger range than the anaconda, being found throughout much of South America. They have intricate camouflage and are also known as the red-tailed boa for the beautiful colour gradient on their tail. Rainbow boas are typically much darker than the common boa, exhibiting a deep red hue and are named as such due to their iridescent sheen, giving their skin a rainbow-like reflection in certain light. More colourful yet still is the emerald tree boa, which is part of a family of snakes called Neotropical tree boas. Interestingly, juveniles start their lives in various shades of red and orange and then turn to an emerald green after about 9 to 12 months, a process called autogenic colour change. A particularly odd-looking boa, and the last in this family that we'll discuss, the Javelin sand boa is found in Europe, the Middle East and North Africa. They are much smaller than true boas, only growing to around 80 centimeters in length. Dwarf boas are a separate family of snakes, also known as thunder snakes, containing 2 genera and 36 species. The Panamanian dwarf boa is found in Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama and Colombia, and grows up to around 30 to 60 centimeters in length. Pythons are very similar to boas, containing some of the largest and most colourful snakes in the world. This family is made up of 10 genera, including true pythons, reticulated pythons, and tree pythons. They are found in sub-Saharan Africa, much of Asia, and Australia. The Burmese python is the second heaviest snake in the world, weighing just north of 180 kilograms or 400 pounds. Although they are now an invasive species in Florida, they live mainly in Southeast Asia and are particularly stunning in their albino form, displaying yellow and white skin. The ball, or royal python, is native to West and Central Africa and usually displays fairly standard colouring. They can be bred to exhibit a wide variety of colour morphs, including the butterball python, the pied royal python, and the entirely white, blue-eyed leucistic ball python. The reticulated python is the longest snake in the world, reportedly measuring up to 10 meters or over 30 feet in length. The word reticulated means constructed, arranged, or marked like a net or network, referencing the intricate pattern on the species' skin. The spectacular green tree python is Pythonidae's answer to the emerald tree boa. In this particular species, juveniles can be both yellow in colour or a deep orange-red before turning green at around a year old. The last species that we'll discuss in the python family, the black-headed python, is a monotypic species endemic to Australia. They are found in tropical regions and eat many types of reptile, including other snakes, along with a variety of small mammals. Vipers are a group of venomous snakes, much smaller than boas, who have long fangs used to inject venom into their prey. Viper's venom is hemotoxic, which is less deadly than the neurotoxic venom used by elapids that we'll discuss later on. Pit vipers are the largest subfamily of vipers, which include lanceheads, rattlesnakes, and moccasins, and are distinguished by the presence of their pits, which are found between the nostril and the eye on each side of their face. The eyelash pit viper is one of the most colourful in this family, and can be found in bright yellow to shades of green and white. They are known as such for a row of superciliary scales above their eyes, giving the appearance of eyelashes which protect them in their arboreal environment. The common lancehead, otherwise known as the fer de lance, has a similar coloration to a boa or a python and are found in Central and South America. They are one of the most venomous of the viper family, a weapon they use to hunt rodents in banana and coffee plantations. The Sunda Island pit viper is the first of 3 colourful vipers that we'll explore in the Asian lancehead genus. They can be found in a variety of colours, although by far the most striking variation has a blue-green skin that is rare to find in other species. The McGregor's pit viper is native to the Batanes Islands of the Philippines and can be found in an entirely white variation. The species is named after Richard Crittenden McGregor, who survived being bitten while collecting the type specimen. The brown-spotted pit viper, also known as the beautiful pit viper, is one of the most aptly named snakes in the world. They display a checkered green and brown skin with turquoise highlights and are found in southern Thailand. Diamondback rattlesnakes are one of the heaviest venomous snakes in the world, weighing up to 6.7 kilograms or 15 pounds. They are a type of pit viper who exhibit a rattle to warn predators, which they will use before striking. The western diamondback rattlesnake is found in the southern US and Mexico. The rock rattlesnake is much smaller and has a lighter skin. There are 4 known subspecies, including the banded rock rattlesnake and the mottled rock rattlesnake, who use their patterned skin for camouflage. The eastern copperhead is the first of 2 American moccasins that we'll look at. Its Latin name, Contortrix, comes from the Latin contortus, which means twisted, intricate, or complex, referring to the bands of colour on its skin that contort in width. Cantils are another species of moccasin found in Mexico and Central America. They are around 60 centimeters or 24 inches in length, and although they lack a rattle, they also vibrate their tails when threatened. True or pitless vipers are distinguished by a lack of pits, the heat-sensing organ present in other members of the viper family. This family is often referred to as true adders, containing the day adder, night adder, and puff adder genera. The rough-scaled bush viper, also known as the hairy bush viper, is very unique, exhibiting raised dorsal scales that give it an almost dragon-like appearance. They are found in Central and East Africa, in the Congo, Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania. The green or variable bush viper may just be the most colourful snake on this list. They are quite small with an average total length of 60 centimeters or 24 inches and can be found in a wide range of colours from green, yellow and reddish orange to slate grey or black. The many-horned adder is a puff adder found in rocky desert areas in southern Africa. Their name derives from the 2 to 5 raised scales above their eyes, which give them a horned-like appearance, not too dissimilar from the lashes of the eyelash pit viper we previously discussed. The desert horned viper lives on the other side of the continent in northern Africa and is also found in the Middle East. Instead of multiple scales, their horns consist of a single scale, which makes them easily distinguishable from other species in this genus. The spider-tailed horned viper is the last viper that we'll cover. They are incredibly unique and are found only in a small area in western Iran. They have a spider-like tip on their tail, which they wave around to lure insectivorous birds into the range of their bite. Elapids are the most venomous snakes on the planet. This family contains both terrestrial and aquatic snakes, and, unlike the viper family who enclose their fangs in a sheath, the fangs of elapids are permanently erect and secrete powerful neurotoxins which attack nerve tissue. Terrifying. The king cobra is one of the most well-known snakes on the planet. It is not actually part of the cobra genus and is instead contained in its own monotypic genus. Furthermore, recent DNA analysis has shown that there may actually be multiple species of king cobra. The Indian cobra is the first of 3 true cobras that we'll look at. The species plays an important role in Indian mythology and culture, but is part of the big 4 snakes that inflict the most bites on the Indian subcontinent. The Samar cobra is a particularly colourful cobra native to a few small islands in the Philippines. They prey upon small rodents and reptiles and have a beautiful black and yellow skin that make them easily recognisable from other cobras. The red spitting cobra is another very unique cobra, exhibiting dark red scales and a black band around its neck. They are found mainly in East Africa, and their venom is a combination of neurotoxic and cytotoxic, which affects cell function. The Rinkhals, or ring-necked spitting cobra, is another species of cobra contained within its own monotypic genus, those containing a single species. They can be both checkered and almost entirely black, but always with a white ring towards the top of their body. The Cape coral snake is part of a genus of snakes commonly known as shield-nosed cobras, or coral cobras. There are two subspecies, both of which are found in southern Africa. They bridge the gap nicely between the cobras of this section and the coral snakes of the next. Coral snakes are a group of snakes made up of Old World and New World snakes. Old World coral snakes are made up of 3 genera and exist in Europe, Asia, and Africa. New World coral snakes are made up of 2 genera and exist in the Americas. The eastern coral snake is also known as the candy stick snake, the coral adder, or the American cobra, but is not closely related to other cobras apart from being in the Elapid family. They are relatively small, rarely surpassing 80 centimeters or 31 inches in length. The Australian coral snake is different to the eastern coral snake in almost every way. Although they are still venomous, they are tiny, usually reaching about 38 centimeters or 15 inches, and, being a burrowing snake, live mostly underground. The blue Malaysian coral snake is part of the Oriental coral snake genus and is one of the most venomous, with venom glands extending up to 25% of the total length of their bodies. They are native to Southeast Asia and, interestingly, prey upon other snakes. The McClelland's coral snake is named in honour of the naturalist John McClelland. There are 4 recognised subspecies and are found throughout much of East, South and Southeast Asia, including the Ryukyu Islands of Japan. Sea snakes may refer to the single family or a collection of 7 families of aquatic snakes, including sea kraits. These sea-dwelling serpents spend their lives in the shallow tropical waters of the Indian and Pacific Oceans, and all apart from one genus are unable to permanently exist on land. The yellow-lipped sea krait is perhaps the most well-known sea snake, with its distinctive black and blue striped skin. They have a yellow upper lip and snout, hence the name, and have a paddle-like tail which they use for swimming. The banded sea krait, also known as the Chinese sea krait, is similar in colour pattern but much lighter. They break the surface once every 6 hours to breathe and, like all sea snakes, are highly venomous. This species in particular are reportedly more deadly than a cobra. The yellow-bellied sea snake is part of the main family of sea snakes, Hydrophis, which contains 36 other species. Most have a yellow belly and black back, but they can also be found entirely in yellow. The olive sea snake is a particularly beautiful species. They feed on crustaceans, fish, and fish eggs, and are preyed upon by sharks and ospreys. They are said to be the most toxic of all sea snakes, with venom that breaks down their prey to aid with digestion. While we have discussed a few of the main groups, cobras, coral snakes, and sea snakes, there are many other interesting genera of the highly venomous Elapid family that will group together, such as mambas, brown snakes, taipans, and death adders. The banded krait is a particularly dangerous looking member of the krait genus that is separate from the sea-dwelling kraits that we discussed in the previous chapter. This particular species inhabits termite mounds in the countryside of East Asia. The black mamba is one of the most well-known and infamous snakes in the world. They are found in parts of sub-Saharan Africa and, in terms of venomous snakes, the black mamba is second only in length to the king cobra. The western green mamba inhabits the coastal tropical forest and woodland regions of West Africa and is one of the 2 species of green mamba, the other being the eastern green mamba found in East and Southern Africa. The eastern brown snake can reach up to 2 meters or 7 feet in length and is considered to be the second most poisonous snake in the world. They are found in Australia and New Guinea, especially in areas such as farmland with high populations of house mice. The ringed brown snake is a close relative to the eastern brown snake and is distinguished by 4 to 7 black bands dispersed throughout its body, although these bands or rings are much less prominent on some individuals. The king brown snake is not actually a brown snake, rather, it is the first of 2 black snakes that we'll discuss. They are quite large, growing up to 3.3 meters or 11 feet in length, and are found in either a browny black or a reddish brown colour. The inland taipan, also known as the fierce snake, changes the colour of its skin depending on the season to aid with thermoregulation. It is endemic to Australia and is the most venomous species of snake in the world. The coastal or common taipan is found in the coastal regions of Australia and on the island of New Guinea, where there is a particularly colourful subspecies known as the porpin taipan, which has a much lighter body and an orange head. Tiger snakes are named so for the tiger-like bands across the length of their bodies. They are excellent swimmers and come in a wide range of colours depending on which part of Australia they come from. The common death adder is one of 2 death adders that we'll explore, and the last in the Elapid family. Death adders possess the longest fangs of any snake in Australia, but, rather bizarrely, are currently threatened by an invasion of cane toads. Desert death adders are extremely well camouflaged for their environment and can either be a brick red or more of a yellowish colour. They are found in central and western Australia, where they prey upon lizards and small mammals. Commonly referred to as typical snakes, Colubrinae is the largest snake family, comprising 8 subfamilies, 258 genera, and over 1,800 species. The vast majority of these snakes are non-venomous, although there are a few species that have caused human fatalities. The first subfamily that we'll explore is Natricinae. It contains 37 genera and includes grass snakes, water snakes, and garter snakes. They are found on most continents with the exception of South America, and only a few that exist in Australasia. Grass snakes are strong swimmers and feed exclusively on amphibians. They spend winter underground where they are not subject to freezing, and males will bask in the sun in the spring to raise their body temperature before mating. Garter snakes are relatively small, skinny snakes with a maximum total length of 1.4 meters or 4 feet. Their venom is very mild, but they are efficient hunters, often catching fish and tadpoles. They are present in North America, where there are 13 subspecies. The San Francisco garter snake is by far the most colourful subspecies of garter snake, exhibiting blue, red, and black stripes along the length of its body. They are currently listed as endangered, with researchers estimating that only 1,000 to 2,000 remain in the wild. The buff-striped keelback is a particularly docile snake. It is said to be the Asian version of the American garter snake, being found in South and Southeast Asia. They tend to dwell in areas with lots of water where they feed on frogs and toads. The common water snake also feeds on amphibians, along with small birds and mammals which they hunt at the water's edge. The snake is ovoviviparous, meaning that it gives birth to live offspring rather than laying eggs. The diamondback water snake gets its name from the roughly diamond-shaped black spots that are present along its body, and also, coincidentally, has a diamond-shaped head. This harmless species is often mistaken for the highly venomous cottonmouth. Dipsadinae is a family of snakes containing 700 species, which are present throughout the Americas. The various genera include snail-eaters, hog-nosed snakes, and a group of snakes that mimic various members of the venomous coral snake and viper families. The western worm snake has a very unique coloration, with a black or purple back and a light pink belly. They are very small, with adults rarely surpassing 28 centimeters or 11 inches, and their diet consists almost entirely of earthworms. The ring-necked snake is around the same size as the western worm snake and, like their pink-bellied cousins, exhibit a darker back and colourful belly, this time with a spectacular combination of orange and red. The Catesby's snail-eater is the first of 2 snakes that we'll look at who prey upon arboreal land snails and slugs. This particular species lives in tropical forests, lowland areas, and mountainous regions at altitudes of up to 1,500 meters or just under 5,000 feet. The Neotropical snail-eater lives in South America alongside the Catesby's snail-eater and uses its slender jaw to pry snails from their shells. There are 2 known subspecies, both of which are fully arboreal. The false coral snake is one of the many species of snake who have evolved to display the coloration of the highly venomous coral snake, a defense known as Bayesian mimicry, where a harmless species mimics the appearance of a dangerous species. The Schude's false coral snake has 2 highly distinct subspecies. The first has black and red scales and black and white stripes. The second is known as the black-headed calico snake and is almost entirely black in colour with yellow stripes. The mud snake is almost entirely aquatic. It is usually found on the edge of swamps and streams where it preys upon salamanders and other amphibians. They are found throughout much of the southeastern United States. The western hognose snake is one of 2 hognose snakes that we'll cover that have upturned snouts which they use for digging in soil. This particular species has developed a resistance to the toxicity of toads, its primary prey. The eastern hognose snake is the colourful cousin to its western counterpart. Although they can be found in a normal coloration, they can also exhibit a reddish-orange skin with black checkers or blotches. The blunt-headed tree snake is a mildly venomous snake that lives in Mexico, Central America, and South America. They are well known for their slender bodies and large heads that house their particularly googly eyes. The clouded snake has a similar appearance to the blunt-headed tree snake, but is a little darker with a blotched pattern. They are found in a similar range, but also inhabit Venezuela's Isla Margarita and the island nation of Trinidad and Tobago. The giant false viper is part of a genus of snakes, Xenodon, many of which mimic the appearance of the highly venomous viper family. This entire genus, which is made up of 12 species, prey almost entirely on toads. The snakes of the subfamily Ahaetuliinae are found throughout much of Asia, as far west as Pakistan and as far south as Australia. It contains some of the most unique and beautiful species of snake, including vine snakes, flying snakes, and bronzebacks. The common vine snake, also known as the Sri Lankan green vine, is a venomous snake found on the island of Sri Lanka. They were previously thought to inhabit much of India, but a 2020 study categorized those snakes into 4 different species. The oriental whipsnake has a broader range, being found throughout much of southern Asia. It is very similar in appearance to the common vine snake, but comes in a fascinating array of colour morphs, including yellow and white. The paradise tree snake is one of the 2 snakes on this list who are capable of a type of gliding flight and are also known as flying or gliding snakes. They flatten their body using their ribs, which allows them to glide for distances of up to 10 meters or 30 feet. The golden tree snake or ornate flying snake can reach up to around 1.3 meters or 2.7 feet and exists in 2 color variations. The first is found in Sri Lanka and is a green-yellow color. The second is found in Southeast Asia and is black with red and white highlights. Although bronzeback snakes prefer the top of trees, unfortunately for them they cannot fly. They make up for this lack of aerial finesse by being particularly elegant. They prey upon geckos, birds, and occasionally frogs. The beautiful bronzeback tree snake is just that, exhibiting a bright green belly and a darker back. They prefer lowland forests at elevations of no more than 600 meters or 2,000 feet and are found from southern Thailand to the Indonesian archipelago. Colubrinae is the second largest subfamily of typical snakes, containing around 93 genera and over 700 species depending on the source. It contains many well-known groups of snakes such as king snakes, vine snakes, and rat snakes. The mangrove snake is one of the largest snakes in the Boiga genus, more commonly known as cat snakes. They are venomous and display a very dangerous looking black and yellow striped skin, although no human fatalities have ever been recorded. The red milk snake is a non-venomous king snake found in the southeastern United States. Their skin displays black-lined red blotches over a white or a beautiful dark grey background. They prey upon small mammals and reptiles which they kill by constriction. The Honduran milk snake is another king snake that is a very popular pet. They are usually found in a deep red and black, but also have an albino form that sees white areas that would usually be black and some of the red areas in a yellow-orange. Green vine snakes are similar in appearance to the vine snakes previously discussed, but are from a completely separate family and found in Central and South America. They are around 2 centimeters or 0.8 inches thick and can grow up to around 2 meters or 80 inches long. The Mexican vine snake is found as far north as Arizona and as far south as northern South America. Instead of an all-green body, they exhibit a white belly and brown back, which presumably is a more suitable camouflage for its environment. The eastern indigo snake is the longest native snake species in North America, measuring up to 2.4 meters or 7.7 feet. The Latin name of its genus, Drimachon, means lord of the forest. The Colubrinae subfamily contains a group of snakes spread across many genera that are collectively known as rat snakes. They are medium to large-sized snakes who feed on rodents and are split into two groups: Old World rat snakes, who are found in Africa and Eurasia, and New World rat snakes that are found in the Americas. The red-tailed green rat snake is the first of 5 Old World rat snakes that we'll take a look at. The average lifespan of this snake is a whopping 20 years, and although they are named as such, their tail is usually a grey colour rather than a red. The Japanese rat snake is found on the island nation of Japan, where they are known colloquially as the blue general. They eat many small animals including rodents, lizards and frogs, and are preyed upon by the eagle and the Japanese raccoon dog, or tanuki. The black copper rat snake is one of the most colourful species of rat snake, displaying a complex pattern of white, green, black and yellow. They are mostly found in Southeast Asia, but exist as far west as India as well. The radiated rat snake, also known as the copper-headed trinket snake, is another particularly colourful rat snake. They are very defensive, and although they are non-venomous, will strike easily if provoked. The rhinoceros rat snake is the last Old World rat snake that we'll discuss, and easily the most unique. They are found in the subtropical rainforests of northern Vietnam and China, and have a scaly protuberance from the tip of its snout, the function of which is unknown. The Great Plains rat snake is a species of New World rat snake found in the grasslands, forests and semi-arid regions of the United States and Mexico. They survive primarily on rodents and sometimes chickens, and can often be found next to farmland. The corn snake is one of the most well-known snakes in the United States. It is often mistaken for the highly venomous copperhead. Their skin is a spectacular mix of reds, oranges and whites, and like the Honduran milk snake, look particularly captivating in their albino form. The western rat snake is somewhat unremarkable on its own, but one of its subspecies, the Texas rattlesnake, is extremely popular as it can be subject to leucism, producing an entirely white, non-venomous snake, which many consider the perfect pet. Much like its western counterpart, the eastern rat snake would likely not have made this list if it were not for the yellow rat snake, one of the most colourful subspecies. They are found throughout much of the southeastern United States. It may surprise you to know that the 89 species that we've discussed so far come from just 6 families of snakes. The remaining 11 species that we'll discuss come from 9 of the remaining 12 families and feature some of the most odd-looking creatures on this list, including the infamous blind snake. The Aurora house snake is endemic to southern Africa, where it enjoys grassland ecosystems such as the savanna. They vary in colour from a dark green to a lighter yellowish olive colour, but all have a single orange stripe that runs down the centre of their back. The Madagascar leaf-nosed snake is a very unique species that camouflages extremely well into its environment. They vary in colour, and their leaf-shaped snout is used in combination with the tone of their skin to blend into the branches of trees. The Bibrons burrowing asp, also known as the stiletto snake, is a species of venomous snake found in Africa. They are relatively small, measuring no more than 55 centimeters or 22 inches in length, and are known to hunt burrowing reptiles in old termite mounds. The tentacled snake is the only species of snake to display 2 tentacles protruding from their snout. These tentacles have been shown to have mechanosensory function, which provides the basis for the senses of light touch, hearing, proprioception, and pain. The Bombay shield-tail, also known as the Bombay earth snake, is a member of the Uropeltis family, which derives from the Greek eura, which means tail, and pelte, meaning shield. They are a non-venomous burrowing snake endemic to southern India. The keeled slug snake is a member of the Paraeidae family, a group of snakes that were previously thought to be typical snakes. They are found in Southeast Asia, are arboreal, and feed exclusively on snails and slugs. The elephant trunk snake is arguably the most adorable snake on this entire list. They have a very unique scale pattern and loose baggy skin, hence the comparison to an elephant's trunk. They are found mostly in rivers, estuaries and lagoons, where they prey on fish and amphibians. The red-tailed pipe snake is a colourful snake from Southeast Asia who prey upon other cylindrical animals such as eels. They grow up to roughly 1 meter or 39 inches in length and can be a range of colours from black and white to blue and white, but always have a red tip on its tail. Like the rainbow boa, sunbeam snakes possess iridescent scales, giving them a rainbow-like sheen in certain light. They are a type of burrowing snake, spending most of their time in the ground, and like rattlesnakes will also vibrate their tails if provoked. The beaked worm snake is part of a group of 5 families known as blind snakes. They are tiny creatures with a maximum total length of around 6 centimeters or just under 3 inches, and also spend most of their time under the ground. The Brahimi blind snake is one of the most well-known blind snakes and is often mistaken for an earthworm. They are even smaller than the beaked worm snake and are known to be the smallest species of snake on Earth. Thank you so much for watching. This video is part of a series of videos called Relatives, exploring the most fascinating families in the animal kingdom. Join me next time as we dive into every order of bird and explore over 100 species. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel to stay up to date with the series.